Hey guys, this is Tattoo Tony. Welcome back to another adventure. Today we are going to the Walls, Missouri State Penitentiary in Jefferson City, Missouri. Now I have a little bit of personal experience with this location. When I was a kid, I actually lived in Jefferson City till I was about 7, maybe 6, 7 years old. And I used to see these prison guard towers as a child. And from memory, it seemed like these towers were probably 1,000 feet high. They seemed really tall to me at the time. This is actually the first time that I've seen this place since probably about 1986 or 1987. This penitentiary is no longer in use. It closed, I believe, in 2004. It was in use, though, from about 36 until 2004. So it was open for a really long time. Some of the buildings here were built at different times. Initially, I believe it only housed 15 prisoners. And the reason it was nicknamed the Walls was because it was surrounded by a high limestone wall with 15 officer towers. It didn't take long until about 2,000 men were incarcerated at this penitentiary, and that would be the average number that they kept as inmates for quite a few years. In 1942, this prison housed its first female inmate. Behind in that last clip you saw the river. This prison is right next to the river. I believe the Missouri River. This shot is inside some sort of courtyard looking through bars at the front of the prison. This wall is on the back side of the penitentiary, but you can really see the age of these walls. In 1868, one part of this prison was built to house post-Civil War criminals. And at one point, they used this as a workhouse, actually at multiple points. By 1885, it housed 6 shoe factories, clothing, broom, and twine factories, and the largest saddle tree factory in the world. And it was all done by prison labor. Now, when I saw this prison as a child, the reason I saw it so often was because it's basically right in the center of the old part of the city, right up on the bluff above the river. The state capitol is literally almost right down the street from this. And part of the reason for that is because the town, or the city, was actually kind of built on prison labor in a way. It became the capital, and then the governor at the time had a plan to ensure that it stayed the capital. So I wouldn't doubt if the whole plan from the beginning was to start industry and use prisoner labor as free labor. And so this is right in the middle of town. So you could almost say that the city of Jefferson City was built as the Missouri state capital by free prison labor. I've read some other stories. If you go and look, they used to use like the cat o' nine tails at this prison to beat prisoners that refused to work. There you can see the river in the background. This little building in front of you is actually the old gas chamber, and that pipe was put on top of this gas chamber because the first time they executed somebody by the means of gas, the guard or the executioner almost got taken out as well because there was too much gas in the building. I suppose he was in a separate room, but the gas couldn't go anywhere. So they erected the pipe on top of this later, once they used that building as a gas chamber to vent some of the gas out so that it wouldn't take out the executioner. And I believe in that little building there were 42 executions carried out by the state of Missouri. I believe overall somewhere around 90-something executions have taken place in the state of Missouri total, officially. And I actually went and I was able to find a list of all the names, the crimes they committed, the date, and who was the governor that signed off at the time. I believe there was even an execution in 2019. This video is not made as a commentary on opinions about capital punishment. And that would most likely be one of the older prison buildings. You can see in some of these photographs, there's some that are red and made out of a brick. Those would be later. I used to see guards in those towers with rifles when as a child, and they do offer tours of this prison where you can go inside. I was allowed to go into this parking lot by the guard. He told me it'd be okay as long as I didn't try to jump any fences. Interestingly, he did tell me that a lot of former prisoners come here to visit and look at it. And my thoughts were, if I was imprisoned in this penitentiary, I would probably not come back or want to set foot anywhere near places where people were incarcerated, probably out of an anxiety that they might pick me up and stick me back in. Now, this was also known as the bloodiest 47 acres in America at one point. It was one of the most violent maximum security prisons in the United States. There were also some notable inmates kept at this prison. You may want to go and look that information up yourself. I'm not going to go through all of it. The Capitol building here is really cool. It's actually a really neat looking city with a lot of old buildings. So Jefferson City, Missouri does have quite a bit of character. Go visit. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and share.